Hello, everybody. Welcome to RetroPitches, and thank you for joining us. Today, we have some exciting governance games and pitches from great public goods creators on Optimism who have contributed to Optimism governance over about the past year or so. And so I'm going to give a little presentation to kick us off and explain what RetroPitches is and what RetroFunding is for anybody who's not familiar, a little bit of context, and then we're going to pass it over to the public goods creators. The first presenter will be Gloria, who will be presenting on behalf of Openrank with two projects, and we'll hear from Alisha from the OP Security Council. And then there's a couple other people who registered as well who may be presenting as well. And I'll also present Optimism Fractal and the Respect games and some related work that we've been doing as well. So thank you everybody so much for being here, and I hope you enjoy the show, and I hope you enjoy the event. So RetroPitches takes place at Optimism Town Hall. Optimism Town Hall is a collaborative forum for discussions about the Superchain with a special focus on optimism governance and community coordination. And our weekly events, well, we host these events weekly, usually on Thursdays at 18 UTC, but we're having a special Optimism Town Hall series of events for RetroFunding now, where we'll be having 3 events throughout this week. And they create an interactive space where everybody can learn about optimism's development, explore opportunities on the Superchain, and contribute to important conversations about the collective's future. You can learn more at optimismtownhall.com. And you can register at lou.mosh/optimistics to join the weekly events that will be happening after the RetroFunding round that will be returning back on November 21st, as well as the upcoming 2 events on the next 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday. And invite you to join and invite friends as well. We love to meet new people, and really excited to hear all the great developments going on Optimism. So you can check out Lou.Mosh's Optimistics for all the events that the Optimistics teams host. The Optimism Town Hall is hosted and presented by the Optimistics. It's hosted by myself, Dan Singjoy, and presented by Optimistics. Usually we play a game called Agendas. It's like a community agenda game where people can propose and vote on topics with on-chain reputation, tokens, and OP and so forth. But you can learn more about that on the FAQ page, and anybody can propose topics if there's anything you want to discuss. We have some snapshot spaces where people can propose topics and vote on topics to make a democratic way to have discussions. But for this special series, we're just going to be talking about RetroPitches. And I shouldn't say just, because we're really going to be celebrating our love for governance and hearing from amazing public goods creators who have contributed a great deal to governance on Optimism over the past year. So the next 2 events will be on Wednesday at 7 UTC and Thursday at 14 UTC. So I invite everyone to join us for these events. Everybody's welcome to join, and we may have some time for questions and comments and so forth. And also, if you have a project in RetroFunding, then we invite you to sign up on the forum. There's a place on the governance forum where we have a post with more details about RetroPitches. So there's more details here. I'm going to go through this in the presentation shortly, but just to give a little overview there, lots of benefits for RetroPitches. There's a rich history, and we're doing an exciting RetroPolls experiment and so forth. So I encourage everybody to sign up for RetroPitches and join us for the next events, RSVP for the Optimism Town Hall. And for Optimism Town Hall, you can see all the videos we produced so far at optimismtownhall.com. Currently produced at the end of Optimism Fractal videos. And you can see over the past weeks, we've talked about planning for the RetroPitches sessions, the 1-year anniversary of Optimism Fractal and Retro Season, and much more that we talked about there. They're all with timestamps, and they're also on the Eden Creators YouTube channel as well. So we love to talk about optimism and help raise the awareness for public goods creators and invite everyone to join. So welcome to RetroPitches. RetroPitches, as I shared before, it's an initiative to support RetroFunding Round 6 by helping to showcase and helping the collective to evaluate public goods creators who advance in governance, in infrastructure and tooling, analytics, and leadership on Optimism. This is RetroFunding Round 6 is distributing up to 3.5 million OP to reward contributions in this round, and voting is now ongoing. So these are kind of like friendly competitions where everybody can demonstrate their impact and to raise awareness for their work on Optimism. So each contributor will have about 5 minutes to speak and showcase their project's impacts. Everybody's welcome to share their screen if you want. And then we're going to be recording and sharing the videos and promoting them to help spread the word for public goods creators and help the whole collective fairly evaluate impact and reward it with profit as per the axiom of impact equals profit, and help grow the Optimism Collective, basically. So you can see more details here. There's the link where you can register and the event page where you can join future events. And as I said before, there's lots more you can learn in this post here. If you're not familiar with Optimism RetroFunding, you can check out this site here, which is app.optimism.io/retropgf, where you can see this amazing public goods funding mechanism. that is really pioneering the way in Web3, and it's, I believe, the largest public goods funding experiment in the world that has grown quite a bit over the years. I recommend anybody who's not yet involved with Optimism to learn about retro funding and get involved. Lots of ways you can contribute. There's almost 800 million more OP that's being dedicated over the course of more future years, as well as ongoing revenue from different Superchain networks as well. And the current round is going on is for governance, but there's another round coming up for dev tooling as well. And that's coming up in about a month or this month or so. So no matter how you contribute to Optimism, there's ways to get rewarded from RetroFunding if you create an impact. There's a whole bunch of projects. There's about 85 projects that have been approved in RetroFunding round 6. So many of these have already registered for the upcoming events. So, but you can check out the retrolist.app to see some of these projects here. And each one has an application that you can look into. And we'll be hearing more details with the presentations from the reviewers today. I'm also going to give a quick overview of the retro season. The Optimistics team has organized a couple different initiatives around retro pitches as well that go along with it. So retro season is partially to celebrate Optimism Fractal's 1-year anniversary and partially to just help retro funding round 6 as much as possible. And in addition to retro pitches, we're also working on a retro polls and on-chain voting system to help stakeholders evaluate contributions. So stay tuned for more details on that. We're going to do it like a fun experiment that I think could work out really well, but we'll have more details coming about that in the coming days. And these events are hosted or presented rather by Optimistics, a team of builders creating open source software, organizing events, and developing pro-social games on the Superchain. We have an application as well for Optimism Fractal Respect Game events that I will be presenting after the other speakers today. And we appreciate your support very much. This can really help support the teams who are involved in supporting Optimism Fractal, which you can learn more at optimismfractal.com. It's a community dedicated to fostering collaboration, awarding public goods creators, and optimizing governance in the Superchain with weekly events focused on the Respect game and all sorts of tools and videos and great stuff that the Optimism Fractal community has built. Just a quick note that I kind of want to share. I did also make 3 other applications for retro funding, and I put up a proposal to the foundation to update the application to include these. So we're trying to raise awareness for this, but there are 3 other projects, one for Optimism Town Hall and RetroPitches that got declined, another for the Eden Fractal events, and another for Optimistics Toolkit. So I'll provide more details, but those are my presentations. But for any badge holders who may be watching, I would just appreciate if you consider the different projects that are related to Optimism Fractal that haven't been included there. So for today's guests, we had a couple last minute time changes too. So I pulled up one from Token Engineer Academy, but they couldn't make it today, as well as SeedGov. So who we will be hearing from today, first, Gloria will be speaking on behalf of Openrank. So I think she'll share her screen briefly, but just to provide a quick preview, Openrank is a decentralized reputation protocol built by Karma 3 Labs with reputation that helps users and that helps people trust what's going on the chain. Openrank has been used in, or it has helped out RetroFunding round 5 quite a bit. And well, yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing more about what Gloria has to say. You can check out openrank.com to learn more. You can see their Twitter account at Openrank. And you can also find their Mirror account. And then they also have an application too, which I pulled up, but I don't currently see it right now. So yeah, we're going to be hearing from Gloria speaking about 2 different applications with Openrank. And then we're also going to be hearing from Alisha speaking about the OP Security Council, which is doing really important work to secure the Superchain as well. So with that, thank you all for listening, and I'm excited to get into retro pitches. So excited to hear everybody's pitches. I'll stop my screen share, and Gloria, whenever you're ready, you can start your screen share and start telling us about all the great stuff that you and your team have been doing with Openrank.
Wow, thank you so much, Dan, Rosmari. Appreciate that. Yeah, I will share my screen and talk very briefly about what we have done for Retro 5. So there are 2 projects. One is that we participated in the guest voter selection, which is a very important experiment for the Citizens House, and that has a direct change up of the voting body, including experts selected who are basically core contributors to the OP stack in the past based on their reputation. And the second project is we use the same algorithm, which is basically this ranking algorithm for all the contributors to OP stack core repos, and ranked based on reputation signals from GitHub activities, all the ripples and all the developers for these ripples. So this data was able to give a more informed metrics for Ritual 5 different ripples, because when you see a number, this ripple has had this number of forks, stars, and engagements, you don't really know what that means. It's very Sybil prone. That started by 200 people doesn't mean the 200 people are all kind of like need to be counted as a meaningful star. So we give nuances to that data as like trusted stars, forks, and engagement. So these are the two projects that we've done. So as a high-level overview, so Openrank is reputation protocol. We use a suite of different reputation algorithms, such as eigentrust, Hobson authority, collaborative filtering, and so on and so forth, to apply such algorithms to various trust graph data that's present and available in the Web3 space. So for example, Farcaster data, GitHub activity data, on-chain transaction data, they all form some meaningful graphs based on different custom trust signals we identify for each use case. And these scores generates a ranking of reputation of different participants in different contexts. So in the context of governance, it could be people or projects. In the context of marketplaces, it could be different applications and different projects that you can trust and you can interact with. And we make sure that these scores are verifiable on chain permissionlessly, so everybody can basically have a understanding of what to trust and verify that permissionlessly. So for Ritual 5 guest voter selection exercise, we partner with Citizens House. So essentially, the reason why they wanted to do this is captured in this forum post. We wanted to, one, diversify the voter base, especially for Ritual 5, which is all about on-chain ripples. That requires certain expertise as an assumption of this experiment, that people who are developers, who are especially reputable developers with a track record of contributing to OP stack will be able to have a nuanced or more articulated difference in their voting preferences. So that was the major thesis of this experiment. And the way how we select these people is also based on proof of work. So they have to be contributing to the OP stack in the preceding period of time. And then we count different trust signals to basically able to surface who are these people and what's their reputation standing relatively. So the algorithm is the bulk of the work that Openrank has done for this. Sorry, I thought that was linked. So in this forum post, this is a detailed explanation of how that algorithm was being constructed and being used to basically capture the web of trust. And there's a concept called recursive trust graph, which means different developers and different ripples, they all form nodes in this graph, and their interactions are the edges of this graph. So these interactions basically fall into two categories. One is user to ripple trust. The other one is ripple to user trust. So user to ripple trust includes any activity signals, including starring a ripple, forking a ripple, issuing a PR, submitting a PR. And ripple to user trust basically confirms that the ripple recognized the user's interaction and in return extends a credit to this user. So such actions include PRs are being merged by this ripple and direct code commits being received and other maintenance actions to this ripple that's recognized by the ripple. So we can see that trust can be recursive because one developer can be signaling trust to a ripple, and that ripple accrues trust from reputable developers, and whoever else is contributing to this ripple also receive trust from the ripple to these developers. So that's the way how we were able to propagate the trust down the network and then kind of like rank everybody from like a global point of view. How are they standing out of everybody in the network? So we use these trust signals, and we use appropriate weights for the trust signals based on our understanding together with some of the advisors about like how important different signals can represent. Definitely having a ripple being merged to the repository is the most important action that's weighted. And we also seeded this ranking with the core OP stack ripple identified by OP Lab and OP Foundation. So these are like the most important contributions that a developer can do in the past, and constructed different parameters to kind of like, that's based on the context of optimism development. And then eventually we were able to iterate a few times and generate the ranking results of basically all the ripples in OP stack. We had some additional learnings for future optimizations and improving the super resistance. These are all captured in this forum post. We offer verifiability of these scores as well. And so this is an overview of, of the experiment. Also, I wanted to show our impact. So this is a visualization that we have done for all the developer rankings. Can you see the window as a full screen? Okay.
Yes, I see lots of cool, interesting circle pictures. I don't know exactly what I'm looking at, though, but I see it.
Yeah. It's not entirely loading for me right now. Let me just refresh. Hopefully it works.
Okay. Very interesting presentation so far. Thank you for sharing with us, and excited to see what this visualization will look like if it does load.
It doesn't seem like it's loading. It's very strange. Anyways, probably will load in a bit. So just to, so the visualization look like this if you zoom in. So you have a node, and then all these edges are basically the trust signals interacting between the different nodes, and these nodes are ripples and users. And we'll send a link, send out the link afterwards, and people can basically play around with it, can zoom in and see different ripples and how that ripple gets, interacting with all the other ones. So I just want to kind of like emphasize here was definitely with the ritualist profile on our impact, right? So we were able to help select 30 top contributors to OP Stack, identified this way, and 74,000 GitHub developers were being given a reputation score, and then a ranking associated with that. So this data is also available to all the developers in the ecosystem. They can use it, and we're making it available through open source observers. So anybody can basically just use this data as a way to bootstrap reputation for developers in the ecosystem or projects in the ecosystem. And I also want to share a post from Carl, who's from OSO. I think people are very familiar with OSO. He did analysis of voting data for RetroFunding 5. There's actually a fancier graphic, but I don't think I have that graphic access now. I hope they can share it afterwards. But basically, based on analysis, this experiment has been considered very successful because the batch holders and citizens voted considered as like non-experts. They voted very differently from the experts identified from this experiment. So this is a bit of like overview, but the most important discovery is that the expert voters, who are developers themselves, allocated much more closer to a power law to all the projects in Retro 5.
Just by the way,
Whereas,
Gloria, it is past 10 minutes, so if you could wrap it up shortly, then that would be
sorry,
appreciated.
yeah, sorry. Oh, I didn't realize it takes so much time. And all the non-expert voters actually allocated more flat across all the projects, which they talked about it in the reflection workshop, that it's also this kind of voting requires a bit of more insights into the understanding of the OP ripples. That is basically the expertise needed. So yeah, I can find out more on this. And just want to quickly touch upon how this other application was used for ritual in terms of like trusted GitHub contributors and stars.
Do you
And
think,
also,
I just want to ask Gloria, how much more time do you think it would take? Because maybe it'd be helpful if you came back another day to go into more detail with this presentation. I'm not sure if you went into this much, but I just want to make sure that we
maybe,
have enough time for everybody to speak too.
so yeah, sorry. So maybe 1 more minute. Is that okay?
Yep. Yep, that's okay.
So yeah, so for this metrics, in short, right? So we weighted all the number of trusted contributors. We weighted all the number of we weighted all the number of trusted contributors, stars and forks with the reputation scores that we have for developers. So when we see, for example, like here, you have like 112 forks, but how many of them actually coming from trusted developers with higher reputation ranking? That's basically 8. So this is a way more nuanced metrics to help the voters to make a decision on the quality of that project. So so I think our impact was that we were able to make this available to all the voters, and also kind of differentiate when they cannot see like what's the difference between these two projects. They will have like so many forks, so many stars, and so many contributors. Yeah, so that's it. And those are the two projects that we have related to this. And I'll talk about some other contributions we did tomorrow. Thank you all very much.
All right. Sounds great. Well, thank you so much, Gloria, for the great presentation. And thank you to everybody on the Openrank team for putting this together. Those were the Retro 5 metrics trusted GitHub contributor slash star slash forks application, and the Retro 5 expert voter selection developer reputation score using recursive trust application. So really interesting, and looking forward to hearing more if you'd like to join and provide more details about that second one tomorrow, Gloria, or the next day. And I see we have Alisha joining us too. We might have time for questions and answers after everybody speaks, but I suppose now we can pass it on to Alisha, who's going to be speaking on behalf of the OP Security Council, or I suppose for the OP Security Council application. I did pull up a couple links because Alisha actually joined and registered like 5 minutes before the event started, so I wasn't able to pull them up beforehand. But I did pull them up afterwards, so I could pull them up. Or if you already have them pulled up, Alisha, then you can pull it up and get your presentation started and your pitch as well.
Well, we should like quote mark presentation, but I'm happy to share my screen,
Okay,
Dan, if that's okay.
yep,
Okay,
sounds good. Yep.
cool. Okay. So as you just heard, I'm going to wing it today just a little bit, but and hopefully I can run through this quickly. I'm Alisha.eth. I'm the Security Council lead for Optimism. It's actually coming up to 11 months tomorrow since the vote went up to ratify the Security Council for Optimism, which happened, I think it was at the end of November last year. And I would say that the Optimism Security Council, in its first kind of year has been a really successful initiative that has been initiated by the foundation, and then the Security Council has had the support of both the foundation and especially the OP Labs team. And the shout out to all the developers there because they're amazing, and we're so lucky to have them contributing, and just the level of care and I don't know, innovation that takes place. I think that it results in kind of industry leading standards, which is really exciting and something to be really proud of. Okay, so the Optimism Security Council is basically 13 members that are kind of distributed, decentralized individuals who are responsible for signing protocol upgrades that have been approved by the Token House and then those upgrades have not been vetoed by the Citizens House. And the purpose of the Security Council existing is so that OP mainnet can reach stage 1 decentralization, which it has. And in the first few months, so effectively season 5, the Security Council was in what we call phase 0. So there are actually 2 submissions for RetroFunding round 6. RetroFunding round 6. So this is the which one is this? Maybe the season. I can actually see.
6?
Yeah, there's season 6. Oh, there it is. Season 6, and there's also a season 5. And so we were in phase 0, where we ran rehearsals to make sure that everything worked. Every individual Security Council member is responsible for key management of their own keys. And at that point in time, with protocol upgrades, it was a 2 of 2. And so the OP Foundation, along with the Security Council, was responsible for signing upgrades. And that went really well on, I would say on the Security Council side. And then around, I think it was June, July, the Security Council moved into phase 1, which is when the OP Foundation was removed from the multisig, and it was just the OP Security Council who is responsible for signing upgrades. And I might just quickly switch to the site, which is just, actually it's not even on a real domain because I just deployed it like kind of for fun internally so that members can kind of keep track of things. It's just like opsc.bisl.app.
By the way, Alisha, I don't know if there's any issue with the screen sharing, but we're still just seeing just the retro list application. I don't know if you've been scrolling through or changing the window.
Let me stop and then share this other window. I wasn't actually scrolling or anything, so.
Oh, okay.
Share. But now I'll change to this one. Can you see this one now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So this is just like a basic Security Council website, just where we keep track of things. And so this just links to all of the protocol upgrades. You can see the signing period during which time the signatures were gathered for the upgrade. And so generally their Security Council members have 3 days to sign a transaction or sign an upgrade, sorry. And then I've also included just like the signatures so people can see. As you can see, like a really high turnout. And so actually in these first few upgrades, the threshold was actually 4 that was required, and we had most people signing, and now the threshold is 10 out of 13, and we still, I would say, are meeting the threshold easily. And we have monthly calls. Actually, the October call we just had last week, and it was really interesting. If you feel like reading notes, I couldn't upload the video because some of the information is a bit sensitive, but yeah, this is just like a little bit of information. I don't know, sometimes there are videos, cringe, but yeah, if you want to watch them. But so yeah, that's the OP Security Council. I also maybe, in terms of kind of the importance and impact of it, I would maybe just say that I guess the OP Security Council maybe doesn't get a lot of airtime. I don't post in the forum a lot, and we kind of just go about our business whenever an upgrade is required. I'd like to think that no news from a Security Council is good news, and that the impact can be related to the fact that maybe the council is so good at doing their jobs that you almost, as the collective, can take it for granted because everyone just turns up. And I will say the individual members of the Security Council are so wonderful and have been an absolute pleasure and delight to work with. And I think OP is really lucky to have the members that they do on the council. And I would just be really excited and happy to see them rewarded. Okay, that's me. Yay.
All right. Thank you so much, Alisha. That's wonderful to hear. Thank you for the great pitch. And also thank you for all the work that you've been doing with the OP Security Council. Much appreciated. I think you did technically have two applications then, right? Because you had one for season 5 and one for season 6. Is that
I
right?
do, but it's like the same thing.
Okay.
So
Yes. Well, same idea, but two big contributions. If there's anything else you want to share, being that you had two presentations, and we also let Gloria speak for a bit longer. If there's anything else you wanted to share, then feel free to add a bit more.
no,
If
I think like if anyone wants to reach out to me, I'm just Future Alisha on Twitter and yeah, always open to DMs and if anyone is interested in learning more about the Security Council. But I think that I'm really excited about the next 12 months. And I think that, looking forward is one thing, but it would be really appreciated for the collective and I guess badge holders to also just take a minute to look backwards at what has been achieved before we kind of take giant strides in putting forward a proposal, like an independent proposal for the Security Council. So yeah.
All right, wonderful. Thanks so much. Did you say your name is Future Alisha on Twitter and things?
Yeah,
Okay.
basically on all platforms, I'm Future Alisha. Yeah.
Okay, sounds great. Well, thank you so
Thank you.
much, Alisha, for the great presentation. And I will say presentation, you give a very nice presentation. And I see Arnold and Eric and Rosemary had all given hearts. Also, there was lots of claps and hearts when Gloria spoke too. So wonderful to hear the contributions to Optimism governance from the OP Security Council over the past couple of seasons, as well as the contributions from Gloria's team with Openrank on all of the data and metrics tooling. So thank you so much for the for the presentations and all the great work once again. And I suppose I will get into my presentation about Optimism Fractal, Respect Game, and what we've been working on as well. And then we might have a bit of time extra for any questions or comments afterwards. And also, by the way, for anybody who's watching, James and Arnold from Lighthouse, so they both have an application as well, and they are planning to join in a future date. So looking forward to learning more about Lighthouse and appreciate everybody being here and listening and watching. And I hope you all enjoy. I hope you've all enjoyed the presentations as much as I have, and I hope you'll enjoy the presentation about Optimism Fractal and the related work from the Optimistics as well. So I'll share my screen here and go a little presentation what we've been up to. As a note too, I want to thank Rosmari for helping to organize this event and reaching out to everybody. She's been working really hard on doing a lot of great promotions, both for the RetroPitches events, as well as over the past year for Optimism Fractal and the various initiatives we've been doing with Optimistics. And also want to give a shout out to the developers on our team too, Vlad and Tadas, who have built the tools for Optimism Fractal, as well as the entire Optimism Fractal community who's contributed to Optimism Fractal and made it so special over the past year and helped get us to where we are now. So I mentioned before that only one of our applications got approved. There was 3 applications that got declined. So I'm going to give mostly about the Optimism Fractal Respect Games application got approved, but also talk a little bit about Optimistics tools and events and the different projects that we do. We're in kind of an ongoing we have an appeal open with the foundation to get those included, because one thing I want to note is that the application specifically states that it doesn't include Optimism Town Hall events or the Optimistics tools. So that's what I'm specifically trying to change, because I think that's pretty misleading for badge holders. But anyway, I'll give a little overview about Optimism Fractal and the Respect game. For anybody who hasn't heard about it, I think basically the best way to start out before I get to the application is optimismfractal.com. Optimism Fractal is a community dedicated to fostering collaboration, awarding public goods careers, and optimizing governance on the Superchain. And this website shows a pretty good overview of everything that we do, or like a high-level introduction. So we host weekly events on Thursday, 17 UTC that everybody's welcome to join. They provide a perfect place to network and make friends and collaborate with talented builders on the Superchain. And we play a game, an on-chain social game called the Respect game in each event. It's the cornerstone, the foundation of each of our events, where everybody goes into breakout groups of up to 6 people. Participants share what they did to help Optimism, collaboratively rank each other's contributions, and then earn Respect, which is a soul-bound token that has many benefits and also enables decentralized governance with fractal democracy. So you can learn more about both of these on the website, as well as the videos, because we produce videos of each event that everybody's welcome to join and watch, share their work during the Respect game, and raise awareness for their work and collaborate with others, and then watch and share. which you can see up on the top in the learn section about the videos. We make great show notes and great videos for each week. And we're also building with respect to, there's builders building great tools with a Optimistics tool set, which is an open source suite of tools to play the Respect game, as well as make decisions with Respect. So you can see more about that at optimistics.io/tools. It's a great place to develop your on-chain career and business. We're building in public with a Notion site and helping people earn funding from RetroFunding. This is kind of like what we're doing in general, and I'm going to share a little bit more about what we've done over the past year and specifically the impact. There's a rich history. We've been working on Optimism Fractal and the concepts of fractal democracy that underpin Optimism Fractal for the past few years with many builders. And over the past year, we formed a Sages Council, a council that uses the Respect token in an implementation of fractal democracy, which provides a critical testing ground for the Optimism Collective, as well as the world, really, for governance in a way that you can have true democracy where everybody's voice is heard, and it can resist capture to a much larger extent than, say, a one person, one vote system or a plutocratic system. We're aiming to implement these systems more deeply into the collective, but so far over the first year, we've done a lot of critical research and development and pioneering, and a lot of people have enjoyed these events. We've had about 60 people who have joined these events, and a bunch of people who have participated in the council, made decisions each week. We've inspired the development of tools. So we started out with a very basic tool set, but now we have two innovative full stack applications that are very easy and slick to use, so that have advanced governance infrastructure. Shout out to the developers both on the Optimistics team and in the community who have helped build these tools. You can learn more at optimistics.io/tools. We've integrated with the HATS protocol to demonstrate how respect-based role allocation could work, or reputation token-based governance could work. And the respect token has also been used in various other initiatives like the town hall, where people vote on topics. And we have several experiments with impact evaluation, which is what the Respect game also does each week, because participants rank each other's contributions to determine basically how much they impact and how much they evaluated, or how much they impacted and contributed to the collective over the past year. So you can learn more about the origins. One of the applications we created was for Eden Fractal, which got declined, but this community has been working on these processes for the past 2.5 years and produced about 37 videos over the past year. And these are more focused on education that helps Optimism Fractal as well as all other communities integrate these systems. And the Optimistics tools, or Optimistics team, both organize the events, and then we had an application for the tools, which is the build the tools, which facilitate a lot of structure that has helped the both shown that foundation, that technical foundation for both the Citizens House and the future and the Token House to grow in the future, as well as facilitate a decentralized reputation system as well. So that's kind of like an overview of Optimism Fractal in general. You can learn more about this on our application, and you can see a high level overview here. And then I'm almost at 5 minutes, but I think I'll just go a couple minutes over it as well, just to provide a good overview of each of these. So encourage you to look at the impact statement. I kind of went over this. This is kind of more in the spirit of RetroFunding, specifically what we did, what governance process or experiments did our facilitation work support, and how. And you can see how we pioneered in the Respect game, decentralized governance structure, governance builder showcases. Many governance builders have joined the events and showcased their work. And there's been a lot of collaboration between various leaders like delegates and grants counselors, and different leaders around the ecosystem who have joined these events and collaborated and learned about each other's work. And then we've also specifically built this decentralized reputation system, which on the impact pages, we've talked about various specific ways that this has helped assist different processes like the grants allocation processes and so forth, in addition to the longer term foundational benefits, that foundational research. So I have an overview on optimismfractal.com/impact that shows a bunch of impact and measures and metrics. I won't go over them all in detail here, but I kind of went over them a bit in terms of like the event participation and engagement. We hosted 43 events over the past year, and there's been, at the time, over 50 participants, with an average of about 8 to 10 people who have joined, and about over 60 breakout rooms, and 300 presentations where people shared what they did to help Optimism. And many people have been onboarded and learned about Optimism governance, like started to become a delegate and started to engage much more. And there's an overview of the software development of governance tooling that we have inspired, and more details about how this provides a critical process for Optimism Collective. So I think that's kind of a high level overview that I can share about Optimism Fractal, and you can learn more by going to see exactly how Optimism Fractal has supported these initiatives. There's also the council page too, where you can see exactly how this is so helpful for the collective and provides a critical process for the collective too. But I also just want to share briefly too, before I wrap up, I had this appeal to the Optimism Foundation, which I hope they review because I haven't heard back from them yet. And I worked quite a lot on this. There's several teams of people who have been working to build Optimism Fractal over the past year, and we've been specifically building on Optimism. That's been our main focus. Several full-time builders who have been building for this, and it was quite discouraging, the process that 3 of the applications got declined. So I've been working hard to try to explain why I didn't believe that they should be declined, and more so, I've also been working just to combine them, because right now the badge holders can only see the respect games, but they can't see those other 3 projects that we've done. So I encourage, if anybody wants to check out this appeal to Optimism Foundation, request to update the application to see more details about this appeal. And I also made a detailed document with the more details of the appeal and process insights to help improve RetroFunding going forward too, which has a lot more detail about the different designs of the round, like structural round changes, the team members, the excluded contributions, and so forth. So I would just appreciate badge holders to keep this in mind when they're assessing and evaluating the impact of Optimism Fractal as well. You can learn more about these at Optimistics tools, where you can see like various tools that have been built and so forth, and learn more about these apps. EdenFractal.com, where you can learn about the various videos and educational resources that the Eden Fractal community has provided. And each one of these have impact metrics and so forth, and Optimism Town Hall and RetroPitches for the first season of RetroPitches that we did last year, and the 17 Optimism Town Hall events that we did previously too. So thank you all for listening. I loved hearing everybody's contributions and everybody's impact on optimism lately. So that is it for me. I encourage you to check out optimismbattle.com. It just wrapped up its 4th season, and will be returning on November 21st for the 5th season. So shout out to everybody who presented today. Once again, we heard from the Optimism Security Council from Alisha from season 6 and season 5, which you can find on RetroList by searching for that. And we heard from Gloria about Retro 5 expert voter selection and about the trusted GitHub contributor stars and forks. So big thanks to Gloria and Alisha for sharing this, and big thanks to everybody for joining the events today and joining the RetroPitches and hearing about Optimism Fractal as well. Thank you all for being here with us, and hopefully you all enjoyed a lot and learned a lot. We will be returning for RetroPitches tomorrow at 17 UTC. So you can see the event dates and schedule. Tomorrow at 17 UTC will be the 2nd event, and the 3rd event will be Thursday at 14 UTC. Everybody's welcome to join these events, and you can find more details on the Gov forum post, and that's where you can also register to pitch as well if you'd like to pitch your project. So I think we could probably wrap up. If anybody has any quick questions or comments, we're almost at the top of the hour. So yeah, I do want to provide a bit of time for questions or comments. If anybody has any thoughts you want to share, I'm happy to go a bit over time. But otherwise, we can wrap up whenever everybody's ready. I see Gloria had written, thank you, everyone. She said she had to go earlier before. And Pat Novabat saying lots of stuff with Eden Fractal and Optimism Fractal. Yep, there is. We've been working on lots of great stuff. Pat Novabat has contributed a lot over the years with these projects too, so I appreciate that. I don't know, Rosemary, if you want to add anything onto the Optimism Fractal stuff that I talked about, or if anybody has any questions or comments, then feel free. And I'll give it a few seconds, and if not, we can wrap it up, and we'll wrap it up on time, and then we'll return tomorrow at the same time.
Hello everyone, and thanks for this opportunity. We are SITGov, a delegation team, as you can see in this picture, that works horizontally with specific roles. Together we are committed to bringing transparency and accountability to the ecosystem. That's why we created 2 reports that we are submitting for RetroFunding in Governance Analytics category. First, our Governance Performance Report. We compiled it by gathering as much data as possible from the forum and Agora, and this report provides a snapshot of Season 5, covering key areas such as council growth. Here you can see all the members of the token house. We also cover the operational costs, and what's most important, the delegate participation. As we can see here, we analyzed the participation by intent, tracking how many were created and approved, giving us a clear picture of delegate involvement. We also look into delegate sponsorship, measuring feedback contributions and approvals on the forum, and we checked the correlation between those who gave feedback and those who provide approvals, as we can see here. And we also did a comparison between Season 4 and Season 5 about proposals created, active delegates, and more. Well, about our impact, our goal was to give the collective a clear vision of governance performance, and our insights were used by the Foundation to determine retro delegate rewards, so this ensured that delegates were recognized based on real contributions. We are also applying with Big Picture the Grants Council that maps the journey of the Grants Council over the past 3 seasons. What began as an experimental idea has become a core part of governance. We did a brief historical overview, as you can see here, checking the members on each season. As you can see here, the Season 3, also in Season 4, and in Season 5. We wanted to make it visual in order to make it easy to understand the growth of the Grants Council. This report follows the Council's role in streamlining grant distribution, optimizing resource allocation, and establishing accountability. So it was created as a guide that helps delegates and new members understand the impact of the Council's efforts on fund management and governance at large. So we hope it's useful for you, and thank you for checking out our work. We really appreciate your support in this round of RetroFunding.
Just want to tell you, shout out to you, Dan, Singjoy, Rosmari, and the presenter today, the 2 presenters, Gloria and Alisha, very well made. I have taken all the links, and I will include that into the mind map. I will share that soon. And happy to be here. I have nothing to present myself, just promoting what we are doing in Optimism Fractal, into Eden Fractal, and interviewing people. And that's all for me. Well done today. And see you all tomorrow for the retro pitch. Second salves, seems to be.
All right. Thank you so much, Patrick. Really appreciate those remarks, and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow too. And yeah,
We'll try.
very nice. Okay, I see Samuel Eric clapping. I see Rosemary Hart. Does anybody have any last thoughts before we wrap it up? Feel free, don't be shy. What's up?
I learned a lot. It was very impactful. The 2 ladies, they really got it. It's great to see ladies in here. So that was really good. And you too, Dan. Thanks.
Okay. That sounds
That's
good.
true. I learned a lot too. It was really exciting learning about Openrank. I've been thinking about building with Openrank for a while. Actually, I've been following their work quite a bit for the retro polls thing that I mentioned. They have that developer score system that I find really interesting. And the Security Council too is like providing a foundational service too. So that is very exciting to hear. So yep, I think we probably could wrap it up. We're at the top of the hour. So I suppose I already provided the opportunity for anybody to jump in, but we didn't have any takers. So if you have anything last minute you want to say, I saw Samuel join the screen. Feel free to jump in real quick, but otherwise wrap it up. And maybe we'll wrap it up and we'll say 3, 2, 1, go Optimism. I think that might be a good way to wrap it up, right? Oh, I see James is unmuted. James, would you like to say something?
I just wanted to say thank you, everybody. That's about it.
All right. Thank you, James. I'm looking
Thank
forward.
you, James.
Yeah, much appreciated. Looking forward to learning about Lighthouse in the upcoming days. And I see Samuel is unmuted. Would you like to say something, Eric?
Just wanted to say thank you, everyone, for joining in today, and see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Sounds great. Thank you, Eric.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody, so much for joining, and see you tomorrow. Looking forward to it. We'll count down 3, 2, 1, and we'll say go Optimism. So for anybody who would like to join us, then feel free.
I do the
Ready?
countdown.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, 0.
Go
Go
Optimism!
Yeah, baby.
All right.
Tomorrow.
Thanks all so much for being here. We'll see you again for Retro Pitches on tomorrow, Wednesday at 17 UTC, as well as Thursday at 14 UTC. And yeah, check out all the great projects in retro funding. Thanks all, and see you tomorrow.